In this video, we have a look at all the layouts of Eiger Nordwand, as well as look at the new cars coming to Gran Turismo 7. Hello everyone, and welcome to a slightly different video where we're going to take a deeper dive into the latest patch reveal that's happened that took place in Montreal at the Gran Turismo World Series event that recently took place. Now, a lot of videos have done summaries on this and just explained briefly what's coming, etc., and their thoughts on this. I want to dig deeper into this because there's more revealed than what's been said in a lot of videos. And I kind of looked at it and I was like, ooh, that's interesting. That's not interesting. I've jumped back on the PlayStation 3 and had a look at certain parts as well, just to see what is different. And that's what we're going to do in this video. So let's hit start on this. I'll put it in the background as well, of course. And here we go. PlayStation Studios. The funny digital, and here we go then. So we're just exiting a tunnel there, and if you haven't already guessed or already know, Eiger Nordwand is coming to Gran Turismo 7, and we're just leaving the tunnel there. And that layout there, so I've just stopped it on the title here, okay, because I want to talk about this for a second. The pit lane has moved. It has actually moved, and we will go into Gran Turismo 6 footage just to explain that a bit more. But on this screen here that you can see with the title on, the pit lane used to be down towards the first hairpin. You'd veer off to the left and go off on a bit of a mountain trail and then come back on the circuit a little bit later on. So that's completely moved. So they have redesigned this circuit. For those that don't know as well, Eiger Nordwand has four layouts. Okay. We have the short track, which we are seeing right here. And it has 3 rally stages, okay? And we're going to jump straight into those rally stages first of all. And my face is going to go on and off in the screen as I speak over some content, as well as look at this in terms of the preview. So let's jump to a deeper look at Eiger Nordwand. So first up then is the G layout. So this is a rally circuit. In fact, most of Eiger Nordwand is rallying, to be honest with you. It's in the mountains. It's what to be expected. You have this tight right-hander first of all, and then we start going up the mountain. Now, I suspect this track isn't going to come to Gran Turismo 7, or at least this layout, should I say, rather than track. Mainly due to its steepness. This is constant going uphill. But what goes up must come down. And this isn't the downhill section yet. Yeah, it's a little bit downhill, but it's a run up to go up this very steep part of the circuit. This is extremely steep here as you go up, and this car will lose speed even if it goes up. Look, it's struggling to maintain that speed, even though I've got my foot to the floor as we head to this right-hander. Now, this right-hander was always fun in Gran Turismo 6. It really was as you go through here, and we're going to continue on out. Some of you may have noticed we're in the Subaru Impreza rally car, but this is the 99 car, not the 98 car that's coming to GT7. But look at this, going downhill. It is so fast in picking up speed. It is that steep. It really is massive. So I don't anticipate this layout coming to Gran Turismo 7 at all, because I don't think the physics will handle it, if I'm brutally honest with you. You know, they had to make adjustments to Trial Mountain and other circuits, so this would be a big adjustment versus the actual short track, which we will look at after. You come down here then, hard on the brakes, and then you can go left. Now, we'll talk about the left later on, because that is a different layout, but we're going to come up here and head towards the final part of the circuit then. So we've got hairpin after hairpin now as we start going up. Switchbacks, as you know them in Europe, of course, when you're in the Alps and you're going up a mountain. I've not actually been in the Alps driving, if I'm honest with you. It's something I will do in the future, of course, when the Audi R8 appears, hopefully. But we're climbing the mountain now once again, heading towards the end of the circuit. And you can see how steep it actually is here. You see a cable car on that left-hand side. It'd be interesting to see what is kept in Eiger Nordwand in terms of the scenery, because Gran Turismo 7 is more graphically there in terms of looks and feel and busyness on the outside of the circuit as well. It looks quite plain here, doesn't it, versus Gran Turismo. So this is the final hairpin then. We get back onto sort of the middle part of the mountain, and that is a lap here on the G layout there. We're going to jump to the W layout now. Now, this is the layout that I believe will come to Gran Turismo 7, this one. So you're going to head down here. 2 big jumps there straight off the bat. I suspect they would stay in like that. We've got this nice little wooden bridge then into a sharp left-hander. I nearly put this on snow because you can run this on snow, actually. But here you can see we are going uphill a little bit, and it's still very steep even in this situation. But we are very near to the actual short circuit, the road layout as well here, so just keep that in mind with where we are placed on the mountain. So you have this big hairpin here then, and you start to accelerate, and then we've got this chicane. Now, if you go left, that is a different layout. Again, it's the layout we will look at after this one as we continue on through this W layout then, and we're going to head back down the mountain here. This is a really good fun bit of circuit, actually. I had quite good rally races back in the day in GT6 here as you come down here, because you want to go fast, but you pick up speed quick. And you come to this section here. It's a hard right-hander across the bridge into a nice straight little bit there, but it looks like a chicane into a final corner. So the shortest of the 3 layouts in terms of the rally, and I think it's actually the shortest out of all 4 layouts, if I'm brutally honest with you. But I will add a note if it's any different. And there's the final jump there, and that is a lap. What we're going to do is go on the K layout. Now, this layout, I don't believe will be in the GT7 in the new update. So you can see there, we turn left off the short circuit into this right-hander, and we are going to jump back to this part at the end of the lap. So what we're going to do now is start climbing the mountain. You've got the tram on the right-hand side, and you've got this long run. Now, I couldn't fully remember this part of the layout, so I will go slower than normal here than you've probably experienced if you did play it back in Gran Turismo 6. You can see here, I'm hard on the brakes there because I wasn't quite sure. But now I remember it's such a fast sort of left-right, and you have to slow down much more than I do here for the tram line. And you can see there the big old jump. I don't anticipate the layout being in for that reason. We are jumping ahead there because that's joining the G layout, and the G layout there goes towards the right-hand side. And now we're back on the K layout. I don't know what the initials stand for, if I'm brutally honest with you. But yeah, this is the K layout as we go down here. Can you guess where we're heading to, folks? Yes, you may recognize it. The bridge is just in the distance there. It's a hard left-hander. And then we join the W layout. So we'll skip this bit because we've already seen that bit. We get to where the chicane is on the W layout, but now it's a hairpin and we're going to go left. And this is a long part of the layout. Now, you can see that on the map on the left-hand side, of course. It represents a mountain. You can see that in terms of its shape. Or a wizard's hat. Some people might look at that and go, it's a wizard's hat. As we go into the right-hander here, the hairpin. And this is where we start to head back towards the start-finish line now. Furthest away from the start-finish line here. And it's a really fast run. If you look on the map there, the mini-map, it's really quick, this. Really, really, really quick. And look on the right-hand side there. You can see all of the circuit, which is really nice touch there. We've got a big jump there in terms of this layout into a fast chicane then as you go through here. I remember some fantastic moments through there in some races in online racing in GT6. We continue on then up this mountain, and what we're going to do now is actually get close to joining the road circuit. There it is. So now we're on the short circuit, and I haven't shown you the short circuit yet, and most of you are probably more interested in that than the rallying, but I thought I'd show you all the layouts here because some people are thinking that this is a road circuit, the big mountain version of the track, but it's not. It's mainly rally circuits, and then we have the short circuit here, which is a road layout. But again, we'll jump onto that in a second. There's the start finish line here. So we end the lap there, 4-minute lap. So it is a long lap, and then we turn off the short circuit. Now, what I want to do, actually, as we go through this right-hander, is I actually want to jump to the patch footage, essentially, that we used here. Now, you'll notice there, as the left-hander that crosses the tram tracks, now we've got, like, a stairs or ramp there, and I believe, this is why I don't believe, actually, this layout's coming, because if you look at the path behind, it's now a footpath. It's not a dirt track, it's a footpath, so it's much thinner than the road circuit. So I can't see the K layout come into Gran Turismo 7. I really can't, which in turn, I believe means the G layout isn't coming either. And there is some rallying in there from the patch that we did see. We will jump back to the patch video shortly, which does suggest there is a layout there for rallying. But my guess is that is the W layout. So we're going to get the W layout and the short track potentially, and that is it. I'm not too sure, but it's quite clear there from me anyway. We've got the burger van there, but you go over those tram tracks and then it's into, it looks like stairs and then into a footpath area. It's not a road anymore, and it used to be a road. So there definitely has been some modeling changes there in terms of this track. Here we are then with the short track then. So this is one we have seen in the game. You see that big jump. You can also see the pit lane go off to that left-hand side. That's what I'm talking about. That's what the pit lane used to be. It's not there anymore in Gran Turismo 7. We've seen that from the footage. As you can see here, we're in the Ferrari 430 Scuderia, the car that is coming to Gran Turismo 7 in the latest patch, which will probably be the end of July as we hit a BMW M3 there. Lots of old cars in this one that we don't have in Gran Turismo at the moment. And it's nice to see, actually. You're going to see some more later on in this one. See this bridge then? We're going to go towards that left-hand side. Then you have this long right-hander. This used to be a really nice corner back in the day to really try and nail. It's a very hard corner to nail. Now what I expect now is the pit lane to veer off there to go under the tram tracks. Then you have this tunnel, okay? So the pit lane will be on the left-hand side as we go past that Mercy SV. And then, obviously, the pit then rejoins here as we go through the right. I think these corners have been opened up a little bit as we approach a Zonda. Look at that. We've got a Zonda up ahead. Not seen one of them in a while. And this last corner here was amazing for overtakes. And this is what you would actually do back in the day. You'd try and get down on that inside to get it done. It's a double apex corner, and it was really hard to nail, to be honest with you. I'll show you the second lap here as well. So this jump has definitely been taken out. I definitely saw that in the footage. It's been smoothened out quite a lot here as we come down to the hairpin. And we're going to crash in the hairpin because that's what would happen. You would just overspeed it straight into that. These hairpins were quite annoying sometimes. You could have some good racing though, because it's like constantly inside outside. So there was always a lot of side-by-side racing as we approach that VW concept then. We're going to go into this left-hander. And you cut down the inside and you try and straighten out as much as possible. Do be prepared for track limits on the right-hand side. If it's still like it was back in GT6, track limits was definitely there. Going to head into the right then, down the inside and send it. Again, this is what you did in the day. You see some over there as well. Once again, the pit lane is going to be on that left-hand side. We know that from the trailer footage. And do remember as well, in Gran Turismo 6, there was a reverse layout of this track as well as a forward layout. So do expect forward and reverse of Eiger Nordwand, and as maybe potentially of the W layout, the same thing, because it did happen in the day as well. Approaching the end of the race now, and that is Eiger Nordwand in a nutshell in terms of the track. I do hope you've enjoyed the deep dive of this part. Let's jump back to the patch video now though, and let's continue on. We're back to the video then, and I hope you enjoyed the deeper dive into Eiger Nordwand. Again, as I've already said, I don't believe half those layouts are going to come to Gran Turismo. There's definitely some big redesign changes here in terms of Eiger Nordwand and the overall circuit. What we're going to do now is see what is next up in this patch video then. Some nice cars there, the Group B cars. And we have that Subaru there. Now, that's on a dirt rally circuit. I've just paused it with the Subaru landing here. And I'm not seeing anything that suggests that it is Eiger Nordwand. I'm not too sure. Can we see anything further on? New Michelin tyres. Let's just stop on the new Michelin tyres briefly. Okay, so this isn't brand new Michelin tyres. All it is the graphic put onto the Michelin tyres. So, it's got comfort hard, medium soft, sports hard, medium soft. They're exactly the same tyres that we've got in now. They're just advertising Michelin because, of course, Michelin are a Gran Turismo partner. That's all it is. And for those wondering about the price tag, because if I just play this from the purchase screen now, there we go. 2.8 million credits. Don't panic. That's the Japanese version of the game. Whack off 2 zeros and you're back to normal pricing. So, of course, the yen in the Japanese version of the game, everything is multiplied by 100. So you just divide by 100 and then you get the actual pricing. So don't worry. You're not going to be grinding for years on end just to get some racing medium tyres. You're not going to need to do that. I mean, that's more than time trial, for example, getting gold. So that's definitely not going to happen. Let's continue on with this. We've got new wheels, which is fine. Obviously, a lot of people like changing the cars. I'm just stopping it on GT Sophie, the title screen here. The reason I've stopped it is there's a separate video going to be done on GT Sophie. So for those that don't know, I actually took part in an event for GT Sophie for the BBC. So I went down to London. I did an event with PlayStation and then went and filmed something for GT Sophie for Christmas lectures that happens in the UK. And I also talked to the architect, essentially, the engineer for GT Sophie, and got some information in terms of what they're expecting. And it was very interesting. I do have some hopes for GT Sophie and what it's going to give us going forward. So I want to do a separate video on that, and that will be coming soon. So yes, it's good they're adding more GT Sophie tracks, because that's going to allow you to race GT Sophie, or a better AI, should I say, in terms of competitiveness. So it's good that they're adding that for Nürburgring 24-hour and Lego Maggiore full course. Right, let's hit play again. And there we go. You can see them all going through the carousel and Lego Maggiore. So the Ferrari 430 Scuderia. Now, this car is in Gran Turismo 6 as well as coming to now Gran Turismo 7. And what we're going to do is have a little look at it. As always, the engine startup sounds very good. However, you heard it in game earlier at Eiger Nordwand. I really hope they develop that engine a bit more and make it sound really nice in Gran Turismo 7. It really would be nice. You can see it's in yellow, which is a color I would buy, of course. And this is from my Gran Turismo 6 save game back when I used to play Gran Turismo 6. Obviously, it's a premium car in Gran Turismo 6, so for those not fully in the know with Gran Turismo 6, you'd have standard cars and then premium cars. So this was a more developed car, essentially, in the game. It had an interior, etc. And that's what is in GT6. It's why we can do the gallery view like we can there. So obviously, I'm assuming they've just developed the modeling they got at the time and then put that into GT7 rather than going doing a full rescan, essentially, which is what I suspect they may be going to do on the Subaru. But even so, I don't know. I'm just guessing at this point, but it's nice to look at. The F430 is good. Let's jump back to me and the next part of the patch video. Let's see what's next up then. We've got the BMW M3 1997. That isn't in a previous Gran Turismo title as far as I'm aware, so that's a brand new car going to the Gran Turismo franchise, which is interesting. Of course, I will add any notes down below after editing if I'm mistaken in any way, but I couldn't find it in Gran Turismo 6 at least. The Lamborghini Gallardo LP560-4. Now, this car is in Gran Turismo 6, so I think we're just going to have a little bit of a closer look. That sounds very nice there with the V10 engine. I love that V10 engine. It's one of my favorite engines. It really, really, really is. And as you know, what my obtainable dream car potentially is, we're striving to get there. Hopefully we get there. And remember, the 80k special, hopefully it will be then, but we will see. So yes, this Lamborghini Gallardo LP560-4 is a premium car in Gran Turismo 6. The exact same year model again as well. So my assumption of it being a premium car is they're upscaling it to Gran Turismo 7 rather than doing a relaser scan. I could be wrong with that. Once again, I do hope the engine sounds are literally there as you race it, and it will just be awesome. It really will be. But we'll have to wait and see, of course. But that's two premium cars from Gran Turismo 6 coming to Gran Turismo 7. Let's continue on the video then. So we've got the Genesis X Gran Racer Vision Gran Turismo concept. That is a mouthful and a half. I didn't even say all of it there, to be honest with you. It's interesting to see. I kind of like the rear wing. I've not even paused on the rear wing. I'm on the front at the moment. Let's just unpause it. There we go. The rear does look nice. It's a nice futuristic car. There's not much more to say about it. No idea whether that will become a Group 1 car or not. Nice if there is another Group 1 car. The class is completely not balanced in the slightest, so adding another one would make no difference, to be honest with you, as long as it's usable. All right, let's continue on. Subaru Impreza rally car. Look at this, full sideways, absolutely going for it. So this car then isn't in Gran Turismo 6. However, and you've already seen footage of it being used, but the Subaru Impreza rally car is in Gran Turismo 6 as 1999. This is the 98 version. This is the previous year version. It's also a standard car in Gran Turismo 6, whereas it's now obviously in the full glory that it is. So it's really nice to see this car, actually, in terms of returning to the Gran Turismo franchise. Everybody loves this car, if we're brutally honest. Everybody's got a soft spot for it. If you were born around that time, obviously, I'm a 90s child, so we had Richard Burns and Colin McRae and everything, and that Subaru represents quite a legacy in itself. So it's nice to see that that has returned to Gran Turismo. There you go for it there. And then we have the Rof RGT 4.2. So for those that don't know, when Porsche was licensed solely to EA and Gran Turismo couldn't get Porsches in the game, they used Rof, which is essentially a tuning company for Porsches, as far as I'm aware at least. And we've had Rofs in the past. We haven't had this Rof before, as far as I'm aware, the RGT 4.2, because it's using a newer Porsche. We have had previous ones, of course, so nice to see another Porsche in the game, I suppose. I'm not overly infused by this car, if I'm brutally honest, because Porsche exists now in the game as well, but another car's always nice for you car collectors out there. Let's continue on. And there we go. So it skipped over the new physics there. I must have missed the title screen for the new physics. Let's talk about new physics then. And in fact, we need to jump to the GTWS itself, and then we can also talk about some of the opinions that have come out since Montreal. So here we are with Montreal then, and this is lap number 9 in the Manufacturers Cup. And it's at this point we can start to see things happening. It's the one point of the race where I noticed there was something very different going on in terms of strategies, especially with Karatsa pitting very early on, going for a very early pit stop to get straight on the softs and just absolutely nuke the softs. So we go through here, the last corner. I'm going to head up the hill here into Lagos. But look at the tyre wear. Look at the difference between those cars. So the Lexus, if you go Fraga, 18% versus effectively all MR cars or FMR in some cases, like with the AMG and the Mazda. They're all in the 30s there. They are all in the 30s in terms of tyre wear. So for me, I was looking at that and I was going, it seems they've changed the way weight works, or at least the gravity works in Gran Turismo. And my personal opinion, my take of it, is that the weight of the car is going to have a more significant factor on the tyres in terms of where the weight is as well. So Outlaw posted this in Discord. Again, I'm not outing Outlaw here in any way, shape or form, but Outlaw posted this in just to give us a bit of feedback, which is great. I love it. So if you are not part of our Discord, let me know. So the impression he got from Igor was that he suffered when you weren't careful with the braking. So going 80 to 90% braking rather than going 100%. So that, to me, could be brakes locking up, potentially, if they're introducing that again. I can't remember whether they did anything like that in GT Sport. Seems to ring a bell, but I'm not 100% sure. Alternatively, again, this is my perspective and my take. It could be wrong. We will see when the patch comes out. But for me, it feels like the weight's going to be more on the front again, which arguably could mean that FR cars are a bit more slippy. I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see in terms of how the rear end reacted, but it feels like the front tyres are being asked to do more. So it could be a case there's more understeer now there as well in terms of the cars going around corners, which in turn would then cause more front tyre wear on all cars, but specifically FR cars, because you got to turn the wheel more to get them round. Anyway, Outlaw posted an additional post, which again is great. I appreciate this, Outlaw, massively so. Felt like some people were better adapting than others. Igor brought this up in an interview as well, like he felt like he was better adapting than other people, which I can imagine because Igor races in real life, of course. So you have to be very adaptable in real life racing. So he was destroying his fronts, so he had to add an extra stop. And weirdly, because the delta was shorter anyway at the event than normal, we know how long it is at Interlagos normally. You can see that in this week's daily race. But literally, it was shorter, so that actually the strategy helped Igor out a little bit, which makes sense why Karatsa also did it. Karatsa must have tested that before the race started, because my assumption during that race was that Karatsa was sort of like the guinea pig, essentially. So everyone saw what Karatsa did. Is it going to work? Now, I instantly saw Karatsa gaining 2 seconds a lap on the hard runners and knew that that was the right way to go straight off the bat. And well played to Karatsa for coming up with that strategy. Started at the back and went, I think it was P6 in the end for Karatsa. No, it was really, really good stuff. But so back to these physics. Okay, so there's definitely a fundamental change in terms of tyre wear. Some people were commenting that it's only going to be on dirt and snow. No, I disagree. It's definitely going to be on circuits as well. It's across the entire board of Gran Turismo. We're definitely going to see that. Okay. Right, let's go back into this then. So you can see Igor, 17% tyre wear as we're going to kick off with this. And they're all going to go in the pits now and head in there. I'm surprised at Gallo going in the pits potentially, but the rear tyres on that car were quite low. The Porsche was doing substantially well, but we know the Porsche doesn't spin up its rear wheels as much. So literally, weight over the rear wheels, happy days. And we know it's quite good at handling in general, the Porsche. It's why I always use it in my time trial lap guides. What we will do is jump ahead and we jump on board with the Porsche, who comes in 2 laps later. That is very significant. 2 laps later, especially in this kind of race, because of course that meant Sasaki could then go 2 laps longer on the next stint as well. So that's 4 laps less of the hard tyre. Didn't quite work out for Sasaki, so if you haven't watched the full manufacturer race, do go check it out on Gran Turismo's channel, of course, as Sasaki comes in the pits. What we're going to do then is we're going to also jump to the patch again, because I wanted to the patch video again because I wanted to look at the Subaru video, okay, because for me there's something of the Subaru part of the video, because there's something additional in there. What we'll do, we'll just go into that now. We're going to slow it down as well. Look how it goes over the jumps. It doesn't bounce like crazy. Now, if you remember, and if you go and try it now on Gran Turismo 7, when you're in a rally car and go over the jump, it goes absolutely flying. It didn't go flying there in the Subaru. Now, for me, that's critical, because if they have reduced that, fundamentally the car's gravity, they're forcing them down quicker into the ground and there's less bounce there. that could mean, again, there's less suspension movement when you go hard on the brakes. Everything is planted into those front tyres. Front tyre wear increases, of course. Likewise, rear tyre wear could increase on the MR cars. We saw Gallo's tyres were a little bit lower. The Porsche seemed fine, but again, that doesn't make sense then, does it? Because you're saying the Porsche's weight goes in, it's fine, Gallo's not. I'm not sure. To me personally, and I'm speaking this out loud, and I'm sort of going as I see it here, there's definitely a fundamental change in gravity. We can see that with the Subaru, and there's definitely going to be a tyre wear increase on FR cars. I can see that quite clearly. The Lexus wasn't always the greatest anyway on tyres, but I think it's going to impact FR cars that little bit more. Be interested to see, though, when this patch comes out. That's going to be it for this video, folks. I do hope you've enjoyed this deep dive. Quite a long video, to be honest with you, but I thought I'd dig down into the depths of this one, really pull it out there, and we'll get the proper info out there as well in terms of Igo, Nordvand, etc, etc. Looking forward to the patch all the same, seeing what changes. Of course, you've seen what's happening with the car profiles. As always, if you have enjoyed it, do give it a like. Do subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content. But that is going to be it for me, folks. A big thank you for watching. Let me know your feedback in the comments, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.